I'm Will's Elliman with Newmark Knight Frank. Today, we're interviewing Kerry Haber, president of Bernardon. Bernardon provides architecture, interior design, and landscape architecture.
The corporate world is definitely changing, and sometimes it's a pendulum, sometimes it just moves forward. But the main difference between the projects that I did early in my career was the movement away from private offices toward open and collaborative spaces. Hewlett-Packard was one of the first companies that made a decision to have no private offices, and that is still uncommon. But the number of private offices has changed, and the collaborative work environment has become the primary vision of most companies. And some of that is driven by generational issues. We all hear about millennials, but they want to have an informal atmosphere that's very cooperative and collaborative. And so what we try and do with our corporate work is provide a mix of different types of spaces. You need private spaces, you need small gathering places for team meetings, you need conference rooms for large conferences. Every client that we go into, they never have enough conference rooms, ever, no matter how many you build in. And then the workstations, which are the open environment. And we're seeing a lot more trend toward open ceilings and a more of an industrial look, high ceilings, et cetera, which just creates that open atmosphere to foster communication. And so that really is a continuing trend that we see, because you have to work with the entire workforce, 20-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 60-year-olds, and generationally, we all have a slightly different perception. One of the interesting things is when you take a traditional company that has a lot of private offices and you work with them to transition to a more open environment, there is always resistance because it's change. It's not what people are used to. But almost without exception, if you go back a year or two later, 3 years later, it's the norm. And they say, how did we ever operate in this other atmosphere? But change is tough, and so we work with it. It has to come from the top. The executives who are running the company have to buy into it, the fact that they're going to make that transition, but it works. It really does. So we're currently involved in a very exciting project called Avenue North. It's the former U.S. headquarters of AstraZeneca, and they had a very, very large constituent there of employees. Subsequently, they have cut back. So they are still on the campus in one building, which we call the headquarters building, which they still have a significant presence. But a local developer, Bernardon and Associates, purchased the project from AstraZeneca and then leased it back. And we've been going through all the development, working very closely with Landmark Engineering and Bernardon and Associates, who is a fantastic client. Ernie Bernardon is the president, and he has a wonderful vision for this space. And it's just outside the city of Wilmington in Newcastle County. But we're working on multiple projects on the site. Office buildings, retail, multifamily, perhaps a hotel. And of course, as all development goes, it changes, weekly, if not daily, in terms of the marketplace. But it's all in for permitting now. The thing that's wonderful about it is that it will maintain the business at that site, which is a very prominent site. And again, AstraZeneca had thousands of people working there. And with their consolidation, it would have created quite a void. But Bernardon is able to step in and bring that site back to life.